Hey, what's up guys? Thank you so much for clicking on my video. Today we're going to take a look at my big Tower Bridge MOC, which I've turned into a train bridge. Just before I get into detail though, I think the channel's got over 430 subscribers now, which is just amazing. I never thought that would ever happen. So I would just like to thank you if you're one of my subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber and you like Lego and you like cities and Star Wars and MOCs and anything to do with Lego, please subscribe to the channel. I've got lots and lots of ideas and content coming up in the next few months that I'm sure you'll love. So this video is actually an update of a previous video I did. Last year I showed this MOC. Modification is probably a better word because it's a mod of a existing set. But last year I just had music. I didn't talk about what I'd done, so that's what I'm going to do now. So you can see that this is the Lego Tower Bridge set 10214, and what I've done is I've made it longer, taller, strengthened it so that it can take the weight of a train. And the train I run across it is the Emerald Knight, which is quite a big heavy train as far as Lego trains go. So I've had great fun making sure it all works properly and takes the weight, and I've recently made some updates to it to make it even stronger and more efficient. The first thing I did when building this bridge was to make sure I had the right distance to cover the gap. I actually made the tables for my Lego room with the gap, with the specific purpose of adding a bridge to it that I could run the train over. At the time I didn't know it was going to be the Tower Bridge. I picked up the Tower Bridge a few months later and built the Tower Bridge. Thought, my god, what a great idea, let's turn the Tower Bridge into a bridge. So that's what I did, but I needed to make it much longer, so that involved extending these two parts here. So I think they're about 3 extra 4x6 light blue plates along. So they go quite heavily into here to make sure they've got the right structure and strength to stay up. It was quite hard because in the middle it tended to sag, so inside I've got lots of 2x4s going along, which form the real core of it to keep these parts up straight. The actual towers themselves are just as the set is. You'll notice though that I don't have the blue and white ribbons that come out of the official set, and that's simply because I don't have the area for them to go into. In fact I do on this side, but if we go over to the other side, because of my tight corner here, I could never get the 4 ribbons to a state that I really liked them. There was always something not quite consistent, so I decided to do without them. I think it looks okay. And as I was mentioning, the towers themselves are just as the set predicts. But when you get down to the bottom, because I've needed to make this area here much taller to fit the Emerald Knight and other trains through, from about here downwards, this is just my own design using the same colour scheme, tan bricks, light blue bricks, and using these archways just to give it a bit of a pretty look. So it's the same on both sides. And I did have to make some changes inside, which is really tricky because I could only do it once it was built, but I think it works pretty well. I'm always tweaking with it and trying to improve it. And as we're down here, the key bit for this and any bridge is obviously how strong is the bridgeway and can it take the weight of whatever needs to go across it. So my main technique here is using these are the 16x8 dark grey panels, so I make sure they are halfway across the bridge and onto the city plates. Same on both sides. And then I'm going to go underneath now, bear with me. So here I am lying with an iPad on my chest, flat out on my back. Let's see if we can make, there we go, that's better. So under here, plates going along this section here, inside lots and lots of 2x4s, 2x6s, etc. But the key bits, key pieces I should say, here and here, these are 2x12s, and even though they don't plug into the bottom of the base plate, they do the heaviest job at keeping the bridge secure. So I've actually played around and tested when the train's going over. I can see where the weight's travelling along, and this was always the bit that struggled. So by putting those in, there's absolutely no movement now when the train travels across the bridge, which is just what I wanted. Now we'll see the Emerald Knight travelling across the bridge. It's the old Power Functions motor, which is pretty loud compared to the flashy new Bluetooth ones that you get in the city sets today. So bear with me, here we go. Going really slow. Let's go a bit faster. By the way, the Emerald Knight for me is the greatest Lego set ever created. I don't know what it is that I find so good about it, but if there was one Lego set that I had to keep if I wasn't allowed anything else, it would be the Emerald Knight. And I even own the UCS Millennium Falcon. Sorry about its state at the moment, but the Emerald Knight for me just pings it. And if you're close to the Emerald Knight, then you'll see that I've modified this one quite heavily, and I will do another video very soon showing how I modified it and why I modified it. But for now, I hope you enjoyed watching this video on the Train Bridge MOC. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments. Let me have any questions that you would like to ask. And as always, thank you so much again for watching, and see you next time.